change because Scythe was playing on the Sky, and now they're bringing in a double duelist setup. I don't know if I like that because Sky is such a powerhouse in this patch. She's absolutely dominant, especially when you play, as I said, for G2. We're most likely gonna see this guy because she fits so well into this composition. And on the other side, we see a mirror match, but not exactly a mirror match because of that Phoenix, most likely. So this is really interesting. The Phoenix change is basically adding a little bit of initiation factor in form of the run it back, but lacks the other stuff that is so flexible because the flashes from Phoenix are just, you know, very one-dimensional. You have to be close to the wall. You always know where the Phoenix will be coming from. With Sky, you never know what's gonna happen.
What do you think, Ryan?
I like the Phoenix. I like the changes up. It's a bit more aggressive from Guild, dropping the Killjoy, dropping the Sky like Lothar said, and just a bit more of a we're going to go at them kind of approach from Guild, which I think is needed. Their attacking half really put from them up against FPX, so changing up the composition to be a bit more aggressive makes a heap of sense.
Lothar, do you agree? Is that what it comes down to? If they're going to take this, they need to be super aggressive.
I mean, I guess they learned a lesson from the previous bind that they played against FPX, and it seems like might be a good choice based on the fact that, you know, they only played bind once on this patch, and they might have, just have an issue with confidence, right? So when you play in a more aggressive lineup and you can just snowball your opponents, this will definitely help with your mental game, and this might be something that was missing on the previous bind they played. So I'm very curious about like the exact reasoning when it comes to the teams. Maybe something that we'll get in a post interview, maybe, because that would be very interesting to hear.
Lothar, you mentioned mental game there, and just to touch on it, Ryan, it's so vital, isn't it, that you've got strong mental in a best of 5 series?
Yeah, and I think mental's maybe the sort of one of the weaker areas for Guild. They've made some absolute hazards when it comes to failing to defuse a spike or getting ninja defused. There's been a couple of cases like that in the past where Guild have just kind of let the ball drop. So being able to sort of bounce back from that is super important, and the best of 5, they have plenty of times to do it.
All right, we've done enough previewing this epic encounter. It is time for map 1. G2 versus Guild with the dream team of casters. It's Tombizz and Mitchman. Take it away, lads.
Thank you very much, Iain. A nice introduction for us there, Tom.
Too kind.
We've got a nice introduction to this game because best of 5 kicking it off with a couple of changes on Guild's side, and it's not just the agents that they're swapping out. It's even who's playing the agents, right, Tom?
Yeah, we've previously seen Leo actually working on the Phoenix before, but they've decided to switch it up to safe. And that's something we've been seeing quite a bit recently is, you know, those crazy Sentinel aimers going, you know what, guys, I'm not having the backseat anymore. You want me to sit behind and almost hold the site for you? No, I'm going to get aggressive. I'm going to push in their face, and I'm going to farm me some ult points, because that's exactly what Phoenix is for.
Exactly. 6 points. 6 for the ultimate, and you're able to pop off with an extra player every round. How has he gotten 2 kills with a nade? They've just walked into it. Yassine getting away with murder and almost taking down Nukia with his second nade, which he has refreshed from the double kill. That is ridiculous. And although he'll eventually be shut down, it seems like this is going to be a utility-based round. Nukia creeping out in mid is dead as can be. I am utterly confused at what just happened in middle, Tom.
Yeah, it looked like an attempted faster round coming out from G2. Maybe just trying to put their domination in early, just say, you know what, we're not going to respect you at all. We're coming in to try and basically break Guild after they come through from the upper bracket. And instead, they've just been absolutely owned by utility within the first round. And I think that's always something with Guild that, again, you do have to be very careful of is, I think that although like we talk about like superstars within Europe, I think a lot of people still go a little bit light on some of the players that are on that Guild side. Like, I think they have a lot of players that can just pop off to a ridiculous fashion. Like Leo, we've seen him in so many games, especially if we get to a Haven map, just like taking over games. I don't think Yassine needs a mention. Like, we know that this man can just completely dominate if he gets into the rhythm. And then even players like Safe, I think some of the lurks he has on maps are phenomenal, although that's one of the things I'm really intrigued about, Mitch, is he actually going to be more of an entry fragger here and almost setting up Yassine a little bit in some of the attack rounds?
It could definitely be the case. I think Safe swapping off at definitely safe swapping onto rather the Phoenix definitely signals a significant change in how they want to play this, because Leo has been incredible, like statistically and just in terms of the impact plays he's making. You can see it in any of the VODs that you watch, but he's not going to get another kill with the nade. He is going to get another kill with the nade. What is going on in this one, man? Drake able to just shut down the mid push, Spectre in hand up against non-armored opponents, no shields to protect them, and Yassine's got a boombot kill. That's 2 rounds in a row now that he has found a double kill off of utility, Tom.
Yeah, you know, 4 kills. Like, do you use your utility as well as you've seen? I think there's a few Raze mains sat there right now, like, well, maybe I shouldn't just be blast packing into people's faces and just trying to kill them that way. Maybe I should just be using all of my utility. I was going to say that. I was like, just call out flights. I'm also looking at, like, the final map in the series, seeing Ascent in there, and I'm like, please, can we get there? I want a Draken Jet. I was excited to see it, but I feel like it's so far down the line. We need an absolute banger of a game today to get there. Avova, it's a little bit close.
Hey, Safe's making the magic work with the Mage Punk skin. Damaging him up already, bridging the gap between these weaker weapons. Of course, addressing Guild's buy, it is a bonus round. There are 4 Spectres in play, and of course, Yassine has opened it up by pushing back and catching them off guard. The trades on site come heavily in favor of G2, but Drake swinging out with the Bulldog. The one, I don't want to say real rifle, Tom, but I feel like in a way we're shifting into a Bulldog meta. It has become so much more prevalent in the games that we've seen. That nade luckily not finding a kill, but thanks to all the utility damage and kills he's gotten, that Showstopper's online not found its target though. Nukia too quick, swinging wide and catching Draken off guard. That is a clutch. But Tom, in the context of this round, G2 have not won.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Losing 4 players to what was a bonus round. We saw like SMGs, as you said, like the best rifle we really had on the other side was that Bulldog. Sure, I think that Yassine might be a little bit disappointed to not get more with the Showstopper. But realistically, I think it goes back to one of the points I think Lothar made today, I made yesterday. If you look back to the first game of Bind, like G2 playing versus FPX, they would have lost that if it wasn't for Nuki clutches. I can think of 5 rounds where I would say he individually won it for them yesterday, and they only just scraped through that map. So if he's going to get off to another start, they might be able to just have a bit of a rough performance, and he'll be able to drag them through, because it looks like we are getting peak Nuki at this tournament so far.
They've already put the Tiger out to the backside of A. It looks like G2 want to commit.
Another one.
There's only 1 player on this site. I mean, this could be pretty huge if they decide to go now. But as the clock runs down... Oh my god! He's just gone forward! They've 0 information. They notice nobody outside B. And as they rotate to A, Yassine pushes. It's so unpredictable. There's no way to see it coming. And that's what gives him the edge in a lot of these situations. G2 now at a man disadvantage trying to get that spike down. And Bunker's watching for the push through. He spotted Kellogg's, leaving it all down to Mixwell.
This man had one of the best performances we've ever seen from him on this map versus Fnatic throughout that closed qualifier. If he can pull it off once again, we'll be showing you that clutch potential of this G2 roster. 3 players grouped up together, but they are starting to separate, looking to try and clear through lamps, find some extra positioning. He's going to get the drop on one, but Leo is ready and waiting. Guild will get their 3rd round, but Mitch, I really like the way that Guild have started this off, because one of the things I'll always credit Guild for, they're incredibly unpredictable. I know for a fact there's a game I could bring up that will probably bring back nightmares for you.
Yeah, bring up Split. Good man.
Which is one of the games I remember versus Alliance, where you were actually telling me, you're like, I've watched this round 6 times. I still can't understand why Yassine did what he did, and I also can't understand why it worked.
I honestly, I think Yassine has got a clock in his head, man. Like, the timings that he gets are unreal. That right there is a prime Yassine play. They spot nobody outside B. They play that little bit aggressive. They're sensing nobody. They think it's A. They rotate a player to the A site specifically because they think it's A. And Yassine's response to, oh, yo, Yassine, there's probably like 3 guys in front of you. He's like, oh, cool, I'll push them. What? Why is that your choice? But it works. And it's the most infuriating thing about coming up against this guy. It's like, it is genuinely, I remember him saying that sometimes he makes decisions a lot of the time because, you know, it makes sense. It's the right choice, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes, this is a direct quote from Yassine, sometimes he just needs to feed his chi. And that made me very angry when he said that.
It makes you more angry because it works.
Well,
And that's
it.
the thing about Yassine.
Well, that's it.
And
Like,
I think the other thing as well is that Guild are more than prepared for him to fall in rounds and be having to bring them back.
Oh, of
and
course.
they're very good at doing that as well.
yeah. But that's the thing. It's like when Yassine said that, it's like I'd spent months trying to figure out what makes this guy tick. Well, like, how is he finding this information, finding this space? And then he says that, and you're just like, I hate you. there's no logical explanation here. You're just, just do it because I feel like it, and it works. It's like the audacity. But there's no way to actually. Oh, unlucky. There's no way to actually hate Yassine. He's just too nice of a guy.
No, he's a lovely, lovely guy. I'm very good at the game, so it makes it even more enjoyable. 8-3. That's the thing, though. There are 2 versions of Yassine. One that disappears in a series and one that dominates it. And thus far, it is the latter of the 2. And that's something that G2 need to be a little bit scared about. Because also for a new roster, playing up against someone like that can be very difficult. Because most teams will not show you that level of disrespect. And again, I think it goes back to that initial FPX series where they struggled because Xiao was basically just running and gunning and headshotting anyone that came into his path. Now, we do have a buyback up for G2. We spoke through the last round. It was more of an eco. They didn't really do too much damage within it either, so it didn't cost too much for Guild. They have that operator still in play, and interestingly onto safe, so they really are giving him almost everything in this game. He was an AWP player in Counter-Strike, so it's not like this is a new thing for him. Then again, so was Draken, so they definitely have the depth in terms of players that can man this weapon. For now, though, it is looking like a B take is about to come in, but we have seen G2 use these teleporters very well indeed.
Yeah, this time though, Sky's already pushed into elbow. This is commitment. Oh, that's so nasty. Safe. He's in the corner, but there's no safe spot. That is so well handled. Utility used ultimates to take over this site. G2 are investing into this round in more ways than just the credits. And now they're reaping the rewards. Look at this. Kellogg's on 7 HP holding the valuable control over elbow as the plant goes down, and now they can focus on post plants, but doesn't look like that's really going to be a problem, does it?
Yeah, you've always got to watch your back when Mixor's been lurking through the A site. This is something we saw so many times, and it made a lot of the rounds incredibly costly for opponents that he was always just removing that extra weaponry, making sure that nothing would ever be safe. We saw an icebox as well, actually. It's something I think he's done incredibly well. I do love that execution, though. Yes, it's costly. Like, those are 2 very impactful ults, especially a future after plants. That would have been an almost instant win in most cases. But G2 needed a round. So to just take that one nice and clean, this is a huge boost to economy. They're not going to lose any weapons in this round, which is massive for them in terms of being able to rebuy in the future. And now they can actually try and maybe take a couple more risks in their actual rounds now that they've invested those ults for a free win.
And what I love about G2's comp is that even though they've invested 2 very valuable ultimates of Hunter's Fury and Orbital Strike, they still have a bunch of really powerful ones online. In particular, Showstopper right now. That is not a situational ult. None of them are really for G2. And that's what I love about this comp. Look at Kellogg's. Like, he is farming up, and when he gets that ulti, they can play around the Showstopper one round, they can have a bit of presence into a Viper's Pit another, and then they've got their Seekers. By that time, you're about to have Hunter's Fury and Orbital Strike back on. Your win percentage increases so much by having these ultimates cycled correctly, which I think is what G2 are aiming at.
The one thing I'm actually quite intrigued by is how the run it back is going to work with an operator. Because it's normally one where you just see that whoever's running that agent just running and gunning and going for peak. Speaking of that, Yassine, he's kind of found out how it feels for once. 5 HP is all that survives for Nuki. Never mind. That didn't last. How many utility kills have we had for Guild so far? Like, there's been shock dart kills, there's been nade kills, and Mixwell, his lurk once again, is attempting to try and take over this A site. He's got the Viper's Pit, which would have garnered him control, but Leo will deny.
That was I guess he thought he lit Leo more than he actually had, because he just did that right in the open. The option was there to do it pretty safe. Now, obviously, he wanted to get as much ground on it as physically possible towards that spawn, and rather than hold on site and give them the room to fight back, but that has backfired. Now, they've got to try to take the fight to these defenders and run it back. Although it's going to be denied, that player is still alive. They're still right back up, and they're able to mount this push back through. The Molly has done a bunch of damage. Good shot by Bonker, leaves Avova all alone. The Phantom is perfect for this kind of fight. With the players on low HP, he can mow them down, but they are ready and waiting for that peak, giving the round over to Guild.
Cabs. I love the cabs. All I want from this round is just Bonker's cab at the end. So much celebration in the victory of that retake. I think they know as well how important this map is. Like, again, context. Both teams having, well, I think Guild more so than some others, actually having a couple of maps that they don't really want to be playing. One of them, they of course got the ban coming in from the upper bracket. The second is this right here. So if they manage to take this map, we're looking at them potentially going in with a 2-map advantage, because then they head into Split, which is a perma ban for G2. So this really is a very big deal for Guild going into this one. And we know as well, especially when hearing from players like Iain, I still remember going all the way back to like when they initially were looking to play G2, when they were the up-and-comers breaking through in like the beta days. And they wanted to be the team that toppled this roster. They wanted to be the team that beat the Titans. They didn't care whether there was a massive prize pool or what was on the line. They wanted the dub. And so far, Mitch, they've never quite got there. So if they can beat G2 and then go back to try and get revenge, I think that's going to mean a huge deal to this squad.
Absolutely. We've had all those interviews with Iain in the past, right? Where you hear that passion to, we just want to win tournaments. We just want to be the best. And it's like, yeah, we'll make money along the way and all that sort of stuff. But it's a secondary focus for sure. Really, it's the glory and the opportunity to set history so early on in Valorant, to be the first team to do something, to make it to the top, to make it to champions. These are coveted prizes. And for Guild, you know, I agree that they've been underrated, but at the same, compared to their performance now, but it was always, as Ryan was saying, the consistency is what held them back for so long. It was so difficult to really believe in this team, because one day they'd show up and the next they'd be getting like 6 rounds. Oh, look at this by Safe.
The cape. The cape.
It's giving him away. Safe's being spotted now too. I think he's just going to try to... Oh no, he's not using the flash to get out. The wall's going to go up, but Safe maintains his position. This drone might change his mind a little bit. Oh, lucky to get out of there with full health.
Just about making it away. A minute left on the clock, and still looking like a fairly heavy lurk from the remaining players of G2. And Safe wants to go back in for more. There really is an opportunity here. He's actually going to catch out Kodamenta reloading. A free kill in the instant fallback. That can't be fought by Avova. A wise move. He has the spike. He needs to try and swing back around and meet up with his team, but he's been caught now. Nuki going down. Kellogg's falling as well. Guild are finding every single frag.
You just saw Mixwell breathe a deep sigh. You know that this round is unwinnable. The time is so low, and orbital strike online for Bonker means that planting is even going to be impossible if Guild decide to commit to stopping you, because they've got a 5v2. And G2, on the back of that information, they're saving. They're bringing these weapons through to the next round, bolstering down their economy. We saw them commit heavily to get on that scoreboard and build up rounds when they threw in their Hunter's Fury and Orbital Strike to that one round on B. But now it seems like wherever they go, they're running into a brick wall in these defaults. Maybe a faster, more direct play could be a solution to that problem.
Yeah, for sure. I think as well, Guild have actually played a lot of the rounds where they've actually given up the site very well. Like, they've been more than happy to wait for the picks, but also they're predicting a lot of the plays that G2 are making. Like, one of the things I've noted when they go for A-site executions is they always like to try and get very close control to the spawn. They're almost fighting that direction. We've seen aces even come out from Mixwell from that spot, Well, they've been more than prepared for every single time someone's got close and retaken that aspect as a team. This time, though, Safe, his aggression will be punished. And you spoke about a faster round. I wonder if they're just going to try and play off this pick.
Smoke's down.
Again, you've got to be so conscious of what Guild have got to work with, though, like, especially when they're running that orbital strike. Baiting it out is a must. Playing these faster early rounds allows you to bait that out of them, and it looks like it might be coming down. He was thinking about it, but now it's Smokes to fall instead. And for Bonker, oh no, they're gonna pressure in, but right into Yassine. They've ran into him, giving 3 away, and Draken's quick on the trade. Orbital strike used, but everyone's dead by the time that ultimate even finishes. That is a quick and clean retake, and again, it's Yassine being in positions that these guys just are not ready for.
Was that a 145 headshot? Because that's what it looked like to me. I think Draken survived on his last legs. That's infuriating.
A little over.
Definitely the worst feature of the Sheriff is how mean it can be at times. But yeah, no, I understand the need to try and re-aggress him. I don't think it's a bad decision necessarily coming out from G2, because realistically, they didn't have the weaponry to fight versus this retake there. It's so painful to watch.
It's just
so
noticed.
Painful.
Yassine used his showstopper. I missed it in the moment because the voice line was cut short by a bullet to the face. I thought he was just blast packing. Wow. That sucks that obviously you're losing that
He's
ultimate.
Used it
can
twice,
be so
twice.
True. Yeah. True. Actually, he hasn't got to shoot that rocket. It's like he's playing against KO. But yeah, high value ultimate thrown away, but they still get the round win, and it's 7-2. Guild won't be crying about that one. Yassine's being heavily pressured now. Look at all the utility coming his way. Still,
oh no,
they completely leave Draken open. Here's Yassine's peek, and another goes his way. Man advantage sits to Guild. The Hunter's Fury was used, but it also connected a hit onto Avova, leaving him on 70 HP, primed up for those shock darts to come through and take him down. Here's a recon as well. Not going to reveal Kellogg's, but now that he's been spotted, they just need to peek him together with a molly in hand. Safe. That was a brave peek, and it's worked out, I suppose.
I won't lie, Mitch. I definitely clenched my cheeks when he did that.
I thought he was going to flash. Like,
it works
that
out,
says something about Safe. The man has an operator, and he's playing Phoenix. As if that doesn't already tell you enough. He has 2 curveballs coming in from spawn. I checked. He still had them available. And I see him running with his hand out, and I'm like, okay, he's going to flash the corner. They'll peek together. It's easy win. And he just goes out with his hot hands. Wants to burn the guy to death. Like, what is that?
8-2. And we spoke a lot about the attack side as well of G2 and how prominent it really has been. Guild don't really care. There's not even been that many afterplant scenarios, at least not ones that really looked winnable for G2, either with weaker weapons or in scenarios where they'd already lost so many players. Now they have managed to catch out Draken with a span, but they're not going to be able to kill him off. He's still got this Viper's Pit. It's going to make things fairly awkward. I think they've realized that killing him is probably going to be the optimal move. Yassine's actually just go running straight in through his own paint shell, clearing out angles, takes 2 with him as well. I feel like he should have gone down to 1, but Kellogg's makes this competitive. Brings it back to a winnable scenario, but just in a blink of an eye, it comes down to Avova. He's got the orbital strike to delay, even a Molotov or 2, but realistically, I don't see any way he's winning this. He needs a pick quickly. There's the first. Second comes through as well. The molly in hand. Both players now attempting it. And Safe, he has to try and just get this defusal through. The time is ticking, far too gone. Waits for the re-peek, hits the shot, but he hasn't got enough time. Surely it will be won by Avova. A huge clutch for G2, and they will scrape a 3rd round.
What a ridiculous round, man. I was with you 100%. It did not seem like he had a chance. But Avova shows up in Avova ways. What a crazy round. You know, for Yassine again, I feel like this guy is just that player in matchmaking. Not only did he run in, he ran through a nade that was popping and then continued to run.
Yeah, I think that was his own nade.
Even worse. Like,
he didn't take much damage.
Honestly, playing against this guy must be so infuriating because, like, we get those guys in matchmaking, right? And you're like, oh, he's just an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't get the game, whatever it is. But with Yassine, it's like, you know, he knows what he's doing is a bad play. But that's why he's doing it, because you know it's bad, and you can't predict it. It's unreal.
Yeah, it seems like we're having a small, or hopefully small, technical pause that, well, I feel like might actually give a little bit of a breather to G2. I think they need it at this point. 3 rounds on the board, seemingly struggling. The rounds they've won as well, we basically spoke about it. It was like double ultimates being invested, or clutches just about coming through. Like I think it was a 1v2 won by Nuki, and then you also had the round just now, which was a 1 versus 3. Now, granted, these are rounds that give G2 a lifeline, Mitch. But at the same time, that's not the way that they wanted to be coming into their own map, and a map that Guild don't play.
Actually, quick update, that wasn't a technical issue. It was a bit of miscommunication. There's actually a timeout being called by Guild. So
okay.
Well, we're thinking that G2 would be the ones that want to take a little bit of space. I think what they're looking at is that Guild don't have any ultimates online. They can get a run it back. They can potentially get a showstopper, but G2 do. They're about to have showstopper themselves. They've got Seekers, they've got Hunter's Fury, and it's the last round. This is where those ultis are going to be popped. Yassine, tagged up by the drone, manages just about to evade that Hunter's Fury. He's going to go up into the smoke, and he's going to be spotted by the Seekers. That's the thing. The information will be given away that he is up there. But what does he do? He stays in position. These guys are rotating back, so it won't be a huge 4K for Yassine from up top. I could see it coming, Tom. Instead, it's going to be a much slower round. Surprising, because, again, that is Seekers and Hunter's Fury committed from G2, and they didn't make it past middle. They didn't even take a step towards the site.
Yeah, especially considering this round is now almost completely reset. They got nothing from those ults.
Safe got an orb.
Absolutely nothing.
Safe even got an orb. He's like, he is sorted right now with the run it back, but never mind. He can't even use it.
But may not matter. One player making it through the teleporter will put at least a little bit onto Bone Cold, but he's got support. In fact, the 4 rotations coming in, and Draken's there, finding a headshot straight through the smoke bunker on the site, even using the stim, the rarest of all abilities, to grant himself an extra kill. And Avova, he's brought it back once again. We saw him win the 1v3 just moments ago. He needs to double it up, and he's got 15 seconds.
I play this one really smart coming through long, but both players from Guild are sticking on the side. He has to find the kills and just doesn't have enough time or enough health anymore. 9 at the half for Guild. A very convincing start on Bind, a map that I definitely could have seen G2 doing some damage on, but right now, Tom, it really ain't looking too likely that they even make it near double digits.
Well, the funny thing as well is when looking at their current composition, I would say that they almost look like they switched this to win them more attacking rounds. Like they removed a Killjoy, added in a Phoenix, and then they've gone 9 defensive rounds, lads. There we go. So like that could not have been the plan from the get-go. I don't believe at the beginning of the day, Yassine was like, right, well, 9 rounds or nothing, guys, or bonker like, well, with the in-game. Like there's no way that they expected to do this well. So now going into the attack, sure, they can't let their foot off the gas. This is not a spot where you just allow G2 back in. They have proven time and time again they can make.
Oh my god.
Was that a collat?
It was a collat, man. He just took them both down. 1 bullet, 2 headshots. And this really ain't looking good, because if you want to believe in G2 coming back, it's the pistol they've got to win. Avova making a sneaky play in the smoke. Nobody spotted him. Bit of a whiff. So only the 1 kill. And it's all down to Mixwell. He's crept up behind them, but they actually know. Of course, the sound giving it away with 88 HP. He shouldn't be long for this world. The smoke soon to fade. The spike planted and 4 players to take down. Mixwell's going to find this tough.
Yeah, some would say impossible, Mitch. They know where he is. None of them are that damaged. And he has no utility to play with that's really going to be able to do anything to help him. So the second he steps down, they're just going to all peek him and kill him. Like, I don't see any way out of this. The only way is if for some reason they peek early, and, well, there's the swing. Easy stuff. Perfectly played by Guild. Okay, I'll say the collab was definitely not something that, again, was just planned in this round, but hey, they'll take it all day long.
Yeah, for sure. I feel for G2 here, man. When I looked at these maps, I'm thinking like this first one, I don't want to say it's G2's out and out, but it's definitely somewhere they look pretty comfortable recently, Tom. You know, like, and this is their map pick as well. But to be honest, when it comes to talking map picks, it's like we have 5 maps in the pool. You know what I mean? Or 6. Rather.
Sorry, Mitch, what was that?
Yeah, we've got 6 maps technically. Sorry, I'm used to the old one. But still, it's such a small pool, and especially with Bind being one of the core maps that's been around for so long. Yeah, you can be better at it, obviously, like with Fnatic, but that's what I would focus on. I wouldn't focus on kind of, oh, it's their pick, so it's bad. It's more so, this is a map they should do really well on. Drone committed by Leo here, Tom, and it actually got cancelled by the nade, not only dealing damage, but basically wasting 400 credits.
Yeah, it's pricey now, and there are a lot of players still on this site. Nice start from Mixwell, but the trades come back in thick and fast. Still a bit of damage done, Kellogg's! Oh, they are not ready for these sort of plays. He's like, all right, I'll pop through. I'll get on the other side. They'll never expect me to run through this. And before he can even pop the flash, someone's run through the other side. Guild just disrespecting G2 and their utility, and well, see you later. They're going to go all the way back, reset the round of over, needing to get something done here. They've invested into this, and thus far, sure, they've done a bit of damage. They've got a couple of players low, but realistically, they've not achieved anywhere near enough. And well, Mitch, have you ever seen a Marshall 1v4 before?
I actually I don't think I've ever seen the Mage Punk Marshall, and now that I'm seeing it in game, that's a really nice skin.
Yeah, I have this skin.
There they are.
Yeah, I guess I've never seen someone holding it. You're normally dead. 11-3.
Wow.
I don't know where to go with this one, man. This has been an incredible performance by Guild. You see all the elements of their gameplay. Actually, that's a lie. I don't even know that we're seeing all the elements of their gameplay right now. Like, Yassine is finding so much space. I'm looking more at Leo and thinking, like, we haven't even seen this guy be challenged yet, you know? Like, we're seeing his lineups. We're seeing the Sova gameplay is damn clean. He's had some great shock darts, Hunter's Fury coming in. But he can do so much more if given the opportunity. And with how dominant it's been, that opportunity ain't really there. Oh, God. Oh,
okay, no. Solid start. This time the risk's not paying off, but the trades do come back in again. It's into a 3v2. Safe. He's prepared for it, but he didn't have many bullets left in the clip. He's going to leave it onto one man. There you go, Mitch. You wanted a Leo clutch. There you go.
Okay, let's give him the opportunity to shine. And he's going to do it right away. A shock dart kill to start, but taken down by Nuke. 11-4 G2 get around on the board at long last. Their defensive side starts here, but it has to be very strong. To even avoid an overtime, they cannot drop a single round. And as you said earlier, Tom, when you look at this Guild composition, it doesn't exactly scream defensive-sided.
Yeah, I will say, though, I have seen, what was it? I think it was a 9-4, 10-5 lead in the favor of FPX versus G2 the other day, and they've managed to drag that back. They're definitely a team that can do it. I just don't think we've even seen the same elements from them. As said, a lot of the rounds that they've won, I think that's the first round that hasn't been a clutch, which is kind of crazy. Like, so far it's been like 1v2s, 1v3s. Okay, actually there was the round with the double ultimates that they invested, their second round on the board. That was also a victory. But again, I think the way that Guild almost played that was one of just, let's just run through showers and see if we can get ourselves around by being a little bit cheeky. So I'm not sure I even want to look at that and go like, yeah, huge victory, even though it is at least something for G2. Now, purchases, funnily enough, actually still looks better for Guild, even though that swung the other way. So the cost that was caused by Leo might not have been massive, but it's enough to make this one a little bit tougher. 3 players set up, Mitch, on this B site, but the first man in, looking like it's Yassine again, and they've popped the ult.
Yep, running straight in. The flash is there. Cold Mensa even takes down Bonker through safe. That's a big kill, because the whole point of popping that ultimate is that you trade it, but he was dead before he even got the chance. Safe taken down on Mixwell's flank. He's been so good on this Viper. We talked about it earlier on when he had that flank through the A side, and it feels like this is the the second time that he's had sort of decent impact with that play in the whole map, which is not what we saw the other day.
10 seconds left.
Sort of
One
saving.
enemy
Never
remaining.
mind.
Yeah, they're trying.
Spike down.
They tried to. They wanted to save. Let's say that they did. They did want to save, but it was denied, and only Draken left alive.
Oh.
Oh, he's missed.
Oh
There
no,
we
he's
go.
pushed into Coldamenta. Okay. Well played, Coldamenta. 4K in this round. He's destroyed the... He just got more than double his kills in one round. If that's not a comeback, I don't know what is. The in-game leader looking to at least bring home something. That is something else as well. We have seen some deadly quiet superstars in this first map. I do not think that's something that will continue throughout the entirety of these series. And if it does, I will be incredibly sad at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing these moments, Mixwell's flanks, Evova's clutch, where they're definitely showing up. But Guild just seemed to have so much control, at least when they were on the defensive side.
dare.
That's such a horrible play. Straight from the Flight's playbook. And he's going to be orbital strike for it. Let that be a lesson to you, Flights. Stop doing that to me in our games. Thank you.
There is a part of me that's very happy that he was like, I've got lamps with a bucky, and Evova's just like, no, you know what? No, screw you. I'm just going to solo ult you. I don't even care if this is an incredibly expensive ultimate now. Just get out of lamps. It's our part of the map. Kellogg's, though, we're starting to see some more confidence plays out from him. This is what we've come to expect, and he will be able to take one duel. Now, he's got to try and get out of there. Because although it is a round where they can maybe afford to lose a player or two, you don't want to be giving any weaponry over. And that will now be a rifle likely into the hands of Bunker. Although he's going to be pressured quickly, and Yuki will make sure that no shenanigans will come out of it.
Nicely handled to put them on 6. Although, to be honest, Tom, feeling like we're going to get a competitive map out of this, at the moment, it feels like I've opened my first present on Christmas morning and it's a pair of socks, you know? I have to go, hey, look, isn't that's something. Wow. Cool, but at the end of the day, it's 6 rounds. They're so far behind, and with the high impact ultimates both teams are running, yes, you can get a couple of rounds here and there out of it for G2. The same can be said for Guild, and you see the showstopper online. The orbital strike just won away. This is where I start to get worried for G2.
The only thing I took from everything you just said, don't diss the socks. It's happened again! Another ultimate used by
He needs to stop popping it.
Another instant headshot. Oh, that's got to be so infuriating. We're going to see the Hunter's Fury thrown out as well. Mixwell is already on an incredibly fast flank, but he is being flanked as well. He's got to be very careful. There's multiple players just pincering in on him, and that might be an overface. They had the man advantage. He wanted to make sure he was there to support the team, but Guild just slowed things down, and now Nuki needs to win this duel, but wow, you're always going to bet on him in that scenario.
Of course you are. I'll bet on him in this one as well. Picking up a second, a third, and a fourth. Okay. Well, that's got some pretty quick returns on it. 11-7. G2 take that round convincingly. And hey, Nuki's got his ult online.
Mitch,
Yep.
I'm starting to believe. I know it's bad because it's a little bit early and there's still 4 rounds difference, but they're starting to get those players online that when they get rolling, they're very, very difficult to stop. As said yesterday, Nuki was, well, he was the MVP. He was the MVP of the series versus FPX, and I don't think that was even arguable. The fact he's just done that to them, I'm starting to get a little bit scared for Guild. I think they need a response. I think they need it soon. Now, this round, fairly unlikely. They do have 2 pretty powerful ults, and one of them they could get almost instantly.
Toxin screen down.
In fact, they're going to put that ult point actually into safe instead. I guess the way, if you look at this sort of round, chances are Leo will die, and then he gets the ultimate point anyway.
I'm surprised, honestly, that we don't see the double shock dart lineups. Jonas has some that go outside of Bath. They are the most irritating thing I've ever seen in my life. But I'm surprised that we don't actually see pro players use them. Like in that situation, firing 2 in randomly, it gets the player on the first one, but he's not going to stand there for the second shock dart. Yassine just avoided it. Whereas if that's a double, well, maybe it's a kill already. Never know.
40 seconds left. They're going to have to make a move fairly soon. Now, there's a couple of players here. We're going to see the drone expended to try and garner a little bit of extra information, and they will actually tag up at least one player into heaven. The flash is going to leave Mixwell running straight into a wall, but they're not able to catch him out. It will be the kill onto Safe, and they're not able to garner this all-important control. Nuki actually is just going to spam it straight through the smoke. Now the spike is planted, but in terms of the round victory, slim to none. Some crazy shots needed to be landed, and while they're already going to catch off Yassine. A clean round for G2, really starting to swing this one into their favor, Mitch. And Guild, as said, I think this needs to be the breakback round, or I think this comeback is well and truly on.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, you've opened up the second present, right? It looked like it was socks. It's just a wad of $100 bills.
Stop dissing socks. The older
Socks
you get,
are not a good present. What are you talking about?
Trust me, the older you get, the happier you are to see socks, because then you don't have to buy socks.
Do you know what I do? I just buy socks. I don't wait for someone to gift them to me. It's actually quite easy. And then I bought 6 packs of socks. So
I don't know. I got
need to buy them for another 2 years.
Some Mr. Men socks, and I was very happy with those.
Some what?
Mr. Men socks. Just Google it afterwards. There's like a children's
Oh, these boys!
book.
Yeah, Mr. Tickle.
Yeah.
I remember these. Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, they're banging socks. Oh, okay. Oh, no, they've gone through the teleporter. They've just been caught out. It's an audacious attempt at a round from G2. And, well, they tried to disrupt their opponents. Instead, they've kind of disrupted their own comeback, because it seemed like Guild were more than prepared for that, even throwing in an orbital strike to deny it. And Mixwell, his lurks, his flanks, they're normally pretty effective, but I have to feel at this point that Guild should have a decent idea.
Yeah, I think they've got enough players to watch all the angles, to be honest.
You'd hope.
It's going to be pretty tough for Mixwell to get anything done. You see him just waiting down here on mid. Boombot disrupting his timing a little bit, buying them extra time to get that spike planted, and now a big clutch has to happen, the 1v5, and Safe might just have spotted his feet there. It looks like it. Yeah, he has the information.
The whole team is now looking that direction.
At least now, having caught Drake and coming up, he knows that he's been spotted. But yeah, 4 kills to get done. Yassine on 31, Leo on 46. It's definitely winnable, but very unlikely. His wall already placed. Poison Orb gonna go down, but there's a smoke to cover. And the blast pack to finish him off. What a disrespectful way to take him down, Yassine. Wow. 12-8.
He's now got a kill with every single piece of his utility except the showstopper.
Yeah. I mean, he's popped it 3 times and instantly died. Let that be a lesson to those of you out there that, you know, when you hear that Raze ulti, you don't have to run away. Sometimes it is the better choice, but
just kill him, you know?
Facing a Raze is the best way to deal with it. And also the least expected.
I did hear a wise man once said, just push them. And so, you know.
Duh. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. That one was hilarious. 12-8. Crunch time for G2. They tried something a little bit risky, it didn't pay off, and now they go back to what has almost been a staple of their defense in some of the previous series. This A control, it seems Yassine's ready for it, but this time caught with utility in hand. The rest of the team, however, already managed to find an opener on the other side, and Kellogg's is actually going to pop his Seekers from behind. He's run through the teleporter, the whole team just staring in his direction. And now after finding the kills, knowing how quickly the G2 have rotated, I do question if Guild even bother going into this A site anymore.
We talked a couple of times about G2's love of teleporters on the attack side, and whilst we didn't really get to see those fakes be sold, it is a little crazy to see them backfire so heavily. In this round, it was a little bit of a ludicrous play, but oh, that's so smart by Draken. This guy's brain is so big. He's just dropped his Viper's Pit. They think that he has already left, that he is going towards the B site, and in fact, all these players are coming back ready for Cold Demented to have pushed up. The first spots him, the second trades. Now they've got the A site, and it is not even remotely expected for Draken to be where he is, tucked up in the spawn already. Nukia's gonna walk past this, checking the corner.